The first thing my son said when I asked about the $5,800 charge in Dubai was not, "I'm sorry." It was, "Dad, don't report it. You'll embarrass us." I was sitting upright in a hospital bed at 6:17 on a Wednesday morning, wearing a paper gown and two plastic identification bands, while a nurse shaved a strip of gray hair from my chest in preparation for bypass surgery. The room smelled faintly of antiseptic and burnt coffee. Rain ticked against the dark window. On the tray beside me sat a cup of ice chips I was not allowed to drink and the small leather wallet my late wife, Ellen, had given me on our 40th anniversary. My phone had vibrated beneath that wallet. The alert on the screen read, Saffron Crown Resort, Dubai, $5,800. For a few seconds I wondered whether the medication had made me misread it. Then I opened the banking app and saw the charge again. It was pending on my personal travel card, the one I kept locked unless I was actually taking a trip. I had not been outside Kentucky in 11 months. I had not been outside St. Matthew's Medical Center in 2 days. I called the number beneath my son's name. Colin answered on the 5th ring. Music and voices floated behind him. Someone laughed. I heard glasses touch. "Dad, it's after 2 in the afternoon here. Are you okay? There is a $5,800 charge from a resort in Dubai on my card." The laughter behind him stopped, or perhaps he had stepped away from it. "Don't report it," he said quickly. "It's us." "Who is us?" There was a pause long enough for me to hear water splashing somewhere near him. Serena and me. Her parents. Trent. The kids. The villa deposit got held up, and your card was still in my wallet from that Cincinnati rental last year. I'll pay it back when we get home. You charged my card without asking while I am in the hospital. I was going to tell you. When? He lowered his voice. "Dad, please. Howard has business people with him. If the hotel had declined us at the desk, it would have looked terrible. You're not using the card while you're in the hospital." I made a judgment call. I looked at the nurse. Her name was Renee Wallace, according to the badge clipped above her navy scrub pocket. She had stopped adjusting the blood pressure cuff and was looking at the floor, trying to give me privacy in a room too small to contain any. "Your judgment," I said, "was that my money mattered less than your embarrassment. It's one charge. Don't turn it into a trial. I am having my chest opened in 2 hours." Another pause. "I know." Serena and I sent flowers. I had seen the flowers the evening before. White lilies in a square glass vase with a printed card that said, "Get well soon, Martin." It did not say Dad. The florist had spelled my last name wrong on the delivery slip. "Are you coming home?" I asked. "The return tickets are non-refundable, and Dr. Patel said your prognosis was good. Besides, the family has been planning this for 8 months. The family. He meant his wife's family. I was the man in the hospital whose credit card kept their reservation from becoming awkward. Then he said the sentence I remembered long after the incision healed. "Just let me keep things smooth here. You can't do anything about it from a hospital bed anyway." Renee's eyes lifted. Mine stayed on the rain. "I have to go," I said. "Wait. There may be an email from Blue River Title. It's routine. If they call, tell them I'm handling things until you recover." "What things?" "Company paperwork. Nothing you need to worry about before surgery." The line went quiet before I could ask another question. Renee removed the cuff and wrote down my blood pressure. "Would you like me to ask your doctor for a few minutes before they take you down? Is it that bad?" "Your blood pressure went up. The number isn't what concerns me." She glanced at the phone in my hand. "You look like a man who just heard 2 different alarms." That was exactly how it felt. The $5,800 charge was insulting, but it was also simple. A stolen card number could be canceled. Money could be disputed. The reference to Blue River Title was different. Hail Flow Controls did not have any active real estate transaction with Blue River Title. At least, none that I had approved. I had founded the company 38 years earlier in the back half of a rented machine shop with 2 employees, a used lathe, and a folding desk that leaned left whenever I put a ledger on it. We built pressure monitoring assemblies and specialized valve controls used in hospitals, water systems, and industrial plants. We were not glamorous, but our products did what they were supposed to do. By the time I was 72, we employed 38 people and owned an 11-acre property outside Louisville, with 2 buildings, a testing lab, and room for a third. I still held 56% of the voting shares. Colin held 24%. An employee trust held the remaining 20%. The land did not belong to Hail Flow Controls at all. Ellen and I had placed it in a separate company called ME Properties, our initials, Martin and Ellen, and leased it to the operating business. We had done that on the advice of our attorney after a customer's insurer tried to drag our property into a lawsuit 20 years earlier. Colin knew all of that. He had been operations director for 7 years. Blue River Title handled commercial closings. I called our controller, Elaine Porter. It went to voicemail. At 6:23 in the morning, that was reasonable. I left no message. Instead, I opened my email and searched the words Blue River. There was nothing. Then an orderly arrived to take me for another scan, and the machinery of the hospital began moving me toward an operating room, whether my family was ready or not. Dr. Samir Patel came in shortly before 7. He was younger than Colin and spoke in the careful, unhurried voice of a man who knew panic could be contagious. He reviewed the procedure again. 3 blocked arteries. A bypass was not optional. My collapse in the company parking lot on Monday had been a warning generous enough to leave me alive. Your son is still listed as your medical contact, he said. Do you want us to update him when the procedure is complete? I looked at the emergency contact form clipped to his tablet. Colin's number appeared beside the word son. Yes, I said. Then I added, but no one is to ask him to approve financial or business documents for me. Medical information only. Dr. Patel studied my face for a moment. We can note that. Do you have a healthcare directive? My attorney has it. Colin can make medical decisions if I cannot, but he has no general power of attorney. Understood. Renee was standing near the door. I asked if she could place my wallet and phone in the hospital safe rather than release them to anyone. Of course, she said. I wrote the passcode to the phone in a sealed property envelope, then crossed it out and asked for a new envelope. The second time, I did not write the passcode at all. The last clear image I had before anesthesia was the round operating room light above me. It reminded me of the inspection lamps in our old testing lab. Ellen used to tease me that I trusted any room more if I could see its wiring. Count backward from 10, the anesthesiologist said. I made it to 7. When I woke, it was Thursday afternoon. There was pressure in my chest, a tube in my throat, and a confusion so thick I could not tell whether Ellen was dead or simply waiting in the hall. I remember trying to ask for her. I remember a hand squeezing mine and Renee saying, "You're safe, Mr. Hale." Surgery went well. The next 24 hours arrived in pieces. A clock, a sponge on my lips, Dr. Patel's voice, pain when I coughed. A photograph of Colin, Serena, and her family on a white yacht appearing on the muted television because someone had mirrored a phone to the wrong screen in the visitor's lounge. That last part may have been a medication dream. For a while I could not be sure. By Friday morning, I could sit in a chair. My chest felt as if a heavy door had been bolted to it. Renee brought my phone from the safe after confirming my identity twice. There were 27 messages. The first 6 were from employees. Elaine had written that the shop was stable and I should concentrate on recovering. My neighbor, Cal, offered to water the tomato plants Ellen had taught me to grow. My granddaughter Claire had sent a red heart from Dubai and the words, "I love you, Grandpa." I stared at that message longer than the others. Colin had sent 3. Surgery went fine according to Patel. Rest. Please do not dispute the hotel charge yet. It will create a scene. Forward anything you receive from Blue River to me. Time sensitive. There was also an email from a courier service saying a package requiring my signature would be delivered to the hospital that afternoon. I called the card issuer before I called anyone else. The fraud specialist introduced herself as Maribel and asked whether the card was in my possession. It is in a hospital safe in Louisville, I said. The person who made the charge is in Dubai. She placed a temporary lock on the account and reviewed the transaction. The $5,800 had been charged through a mobile wallet token connected to a phone ending in 4419. The token had been created 4 months earlier. Can you tell me the device owner? I asked. I cannot see a name. Do you recognize those digits? I did. Colin's number ended in 4419. 4 months earlier, he had driven me to Cincinnati for a supplier meeting after I bruised my wrist. At the rental counter, my card would not read in the machine. Colin had said, "Let me add it to my wallet just for this. We'll remove it after." I had watched him tap his phone and pay for the car. I had forgotten about it. He had not. Maribel asked whether I wanted to report the transaction as unauthorized. Yes. The cardholder may be contacted. If the other person had prior permission to use the digital card, the investigation can take time. He had permission for 1 car rental in Ohio, not a resort villa in Dubai. She noted my statement and said a replacement card would be mailed to my home. Then she hesitated. "Mr. Hale, there were 2 smaller attempts after the resort charge. One for $91.26 at a document center in the same hotel. Another for $1 from a verification service. Both were declined after the lock. What verification service? The descriptor says Sign Verify Global. The second alarm grew louder. I